It's no longer news that one of the focus of the administration led by President Muhammadu Buhari is the fight against corruption. There's been high-profile arrests, alleged discovery of looted funds, numerous court cases, and a whole lot of talk in the past 2 years as the administration celebrates 2 years in office. Well, this episode of Channels Beam brings the views and observations of Nigerians in the fight against corruption. But first, let's see the topics that made headlines in the past week.
The world was entertained by the tantalizing trickery and breathtaking football skills of kids under the age of 13 during the first international edition of the Channels Kids Cup. Representatives of Ogun State beat other contenders, including the contingent from Benin Republic and Ghana, to lift the highly coveted trophy on May the 27th. Also celebrated as Children's Day in Nigeria. Nigeria's return to democracy completed an 18-year circle and also the second year of President Muhammadu Buhari's tenure in office. Nigerians reflected on what the country has achieved so far and what campaign promises the Buhari administration has kept since taking the oath of office.
It's time to hang out, and Ayomide Faleye, Atiku Samo, both from Lagos, Nigeria, and Calvin Ikpeni from the United States are the guests. Let's start with the only female among the guys. Ayomide, how would you rate this fight against corruption in 2 years?
Oh, hello everyone. Personally, I would say as much as the present government is trying to fight corruption, the success is still quite minimal. Very minimal, I must say. So basically, for me, it's like they're still trying to do they want to do something big, but the success story is still very, very, very minimal.
Calvin, what vibes are you getting about this fight against corruption?
Yeah, thank you very much, Ini, for this opportunity. The thing is that the federal government is trying their best to really fight this corruption. But don't forget that corruption has been in the fabric of Nigeria for a very, very long time now. And 2 years is really not enough to do much, but at least they've started something which I believe is working, because the other day I was seeing some pictures on the internet of people hiding money in their bedrooms, their bathrooms, and everywhere, you know. So I believe the FCC is doing a good job in cracking down those people, but a lot is still need to be done, like really, really a lot. But I believe so far so good. A journey of 1,000 miles begin with a step. So the federal government has started with, I think, with a good step already in cracking down those people that are really putting corruption in forefront of their life.
Atiku, there's been talks that this fight against corruption is lopsided. What do you think about this?
For me, I will look at it from, of course, I always like to look at things from different perspectives. The first thing is that what's corruption itself? How do we define corruption? If we look closely at the definition of corruption, corruption talks about your ability to, rather than do things, of course, for public good, you're actually streamlining it to actually benefit from it. Or, of course, you're doing things, your process, your decisions are actually circled around a particular people that you take there, compared to, of course, the overall broad objective of the country that has enshrined in the Constitution of Nigeria. So one step further, if you look closely at corruption, fighting corruption takes two broad dimensions. Number one, preventing corruption, and number two is actually punishing, typically, those that are involved in corrupt acts, and then subsequently preventing others from taking that other step. If you move into prevention, what you see is actually some people being punished. Some people being punished for corrupt cases. So really, I would say it's actually a mixed bag. But in terms of punishing people itself, who are the people you've punished? If you look at the saga that happened with the SGF, very little thing has actually been done in that perspective. So really, I would say I'm still not satisfied with that. It's still one-sided, notwithstanding that. Notwithstanding that, I think there's a clear need for actually divine what is going on or what is not going on.
Ayomide, like Atiku mentioned, we have seen the SGF in the present administration suspended. We saw the NIA director also suspended. So can we still say that the fight is one-sided?
Well, as much as I would want to disagree with Atiku, I wouldn't disagree with him. I would say it's one-sided because there's very little information that we have on the public side. Not much is said about what is going on. You know, we hear something today and then we hear something else tomorrow, and before you know it, the information becomes almost absent. And then we move on to someone else, and then we hear something about that person, and then we no longer hear anything else. So I would say it's one-sided because there's really no follow-up. The public is not really aware of what is going on. We just see it on the news and we don't know what is going on. So it's like you discover the corrupt person, and the next thing, we don't know. It's like we are no longer, the public is no longer in the news or in the go of what is actually happening to that case. So I would say it's one-sided. I would say it's one-sided.